The first time Alara sang at the Velvet Chord, the city's most iconic jazz lounge, her voice carved silence into wonder. A soft alto, smooth as honey with just enough rasp to sting memory, earned her a standing ovation. She wasn't famous, yet, but her name was beginning to float in the right conversations. It was on one of those blue-lit nights that she met Adrian. He was a vision, tall, with eyes that made promises before his lips ever moved. He was already someone, an indie actor rising fast through theater and the occasional streaming drama. Alara, skeptical of fairy tales, found herself disarmed by his gentleness and the way he watched her sing like it was something sacred. 2 months later, he proposed. Friends warned it was fast, too fast, but their chemistry was blinding. Adrian was attentive, patient, always saying the right things. Alara, who had always believed her music was the great love of her life, thought perhaps she'd finally found something just as eternal. Their wedding was small and poetic, lace, jazz, and candlelight under a summer moon. But the first crack came 12 days into their marriage. Alara had planned a surprise weekend at a cabin. He seemed distant, not cold, just absent. He didn't hold her like he used to. He didn't look at her the same way. He avoided intimacy, first with polite excuses, then with longer work hours. When she asked what was wrong, he smiled too quickly and blamed stress, his next role, something dark and emotionally demanding. But Alara had known performers all her life. That wasn't acting stress, it was something deeper. She began to watch. Not to accuse, but to understand. One morning, while fetching laundry, she found a notebook in Adrian's closet, not hidden, just tucked away. Inside were pages of monologues. Some were from plays, others weren't. One entry was a confessional, a letter never sent. It read, "I've tried to be what the world wants, what my father needed, what my agents expect, but I can't live this life forever. I'm exhausted hiding who I am, especially from someone who deserves the truth. Alara is gold, and I'm breaking her heart one day at a time." Alara stared at the page as if the ink might rearrange itself, make the words less sharp, less real. She didn't cry, not then. Instead, she closed the notebook, placed it back where she found it, and went for a walk. She walked for hours, through the heart of Brooklyn and the edges of her own denial. That night she asked him, "Do you love me?" He hesitated. "Of course I do," he said, barely above a whisper. "But not like I love you." A silence. Then slowly, he sat on the edge of their bed, fingers knotted together, like he was holding the truth too tightly. "I'm gay," he said. The words fell between them like glass. "I wanted to tell you before the wedding," he continued, "but I kept thinking, maybe if I tried hard enough, maybe if I just loved you enough." Alara inhaled, sharply, but no tears yet. "So you loved the idea of me?" He looked up, tears finally brimming. "I loved being loved by you, I loved being safe with you, but I couldn't love you the way you needed." 2 days later, he moved out. They didn't fight, there was too much sorrow, and strangely, too much care between them for bitterness. Alara returned to her music. She poured the confusion, the ache, the betrayal laced with understanding into her songs. One track in particular, "The Curtain Call," became an underground sensation on streaming platforms. It spoke of being chosen for a role that was never real, of applause for a performance that hurt more than healed. She didn't name Adrian, she didn't need to. The world heard the echo in her voice. One night, after a performance that left the lounge in silence, a journalist approached her backstage. "Who's the song about?" he asked, half smiling. Alara stared at him, then softly said, "Someone who taught me that love and truth can exist together, even if they can't survive side by side." The piece ran the next week. It didn't out Adrian, but it celebrated Alara's grace and the beauty of surviving emotional landmines without losing one's voice. Adrian, now acting in a stage production downtown, came to see her perform one night. He sat quietly in the back, unnoticed. When she sang "The Curtain Call," she looked into the darkened crowd and felt his presence like the ache of an old wound, not pain, just memory. After the set, he left a note with the bartender. "Thank you for not hatting me. I never deserved your silence, but I'm grateful for your song. A." She never replied. But she kept the note. And sometimes, before going on stage, she touched it, just once like a charm. Because in the end, Alara knew that not all love stories end with togetherness. Some end with truth. And that, she realized, is its own kind of forever.